I am off on the ultimate adventure, trusting Jesus all along the way. To the truth of God's word I will surrender, no matter where I am from day to day. In the sky, under sea, in the wild, Christ with me, here at home, around the world. His love is clear to see. Won't you come along with me on the ultimate adventure? I will train for the mission He has for me. I will trust in Him to give the victory. As I read His word and pray He gives direction, as I follow Him each and every day. In the sky, on the sea, in the wild, Christ with me, here at home, around the world. His love is clear to see. Won't you come along with me on the ultimate adventure?
Hello, TNTers. It is time for section 4.6 in our books, Discovery of Gentleness and Self-Control. Did you guys catch on before today, not like me, that the whole of section 4 in our book is about the fruits of the Spirit? I really only noticed that today. But anyway, the fruits of the Spirit are love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control. If you haven't learned those yet as a Bible verse or any other time or place, our pastor has been working on them with the kids of our church, and this is how he helps himself and others to remember what the fruits of the Spirit are. The first 3 fruits of the Spirit all have one syllable: love, joy, peace. The second 3 fruits of the Spirit have 2 syllables each: patience, kindness, goodness. The third 3 fruits of the Spirit all have 3 syllables each: faithfulness, gentleness, self-control. So, today we'll be talking a little bit about gentleness and self-control. Have you ever felt out of control? Maybe if you spin around in circles for a long time, you get really dizzy and you can't walk in a straight line, or you can't stand up straight and you're not in control of your body. What if somebody puts your favorite dessert down on the table and you're not done with your dinner yet? Do you sometimes feel would you feel tempted to gobble it all down right at once? Just dive in? There's nothing wrong with eating all your dessert at once, and there's nothing wrong with spinning until you can't stand up straight. But that sense of self-control or lack of self-control is not how God wants us to live our lives in general. When we become Christians, when we believe what God said about Jesus, He gives us the ability to have the fruit of the Spirit, in this case, gentleness and self-control. So I'm going to read my bit here from the book, so I'll be looking down for a sec. 2 of the characteristics of God that we should pursue are gentleness and self-control. Gentleness is not weakness, it is power under control. It is a humble and gentle attitude that doesn't seek revenge. Having self-control means denying your sinful nature. It means you can't do what you want all the time, because there are some things that we want to do that God said are not okay. It is choosing to walk in a manner worthy of God instead of making a choice based on how you feel. Feelings are fleeting and they are changeable, and the way you feel about one thing today may not be the way that you feel about it tomorrow. Jesus is our best example of gentleness and self-control. Instead of reacting to the people who crucified him, Jesus forgave. Stephen also showed gentleness and self-control that can only come from God and His grace. Do you remember who Stephen was? Stephen was the first martyr. He was a member of the church and in fact was chosen as one of the 7 reliable people to help make sure that the widows and orphans were fed, because the apostles had work other than that to do. They needed to go out and preach and help people to come to faith in Jesus. So Stephen and 6 other men were chosen to help make sure that the widows and orphans were cared for. And Stephen was stoned for his belief. Because he was a Christian, because he followed Jesus, they took him out and threw rocks at him until he died. And he was the first person that we know of who was killed because he believed in Jesus. But he didn't fight back. He didn't rage against the people who were doing this unkind, unjust thing to him. He exhibited the grace that God gave him to have gentleness and self-control. Why do you think it is important to be gentle and to have self-control? Gentleness is a harder one, I guess, if you think about having a tiny new pet or a baby brother or sister. It's important to be gentle with the baby or the little pet because we are stronger than they are, and if we aren't gentle, we can hurt them. Self-control is good in so many areas of life. You don't want to gobble up your dessert right away. Might as well enjoy it. At our house, we say that the person who finishes dessert last is the one who won the race because they got to enjoy their dessert the longest. Self-control. It's not really great to shout out every single thing that comes into your mind at any moment that it comes into your mind. There are times and places for those sorts of things. So you need to have self-control. If you really needed to blow your nose, is it okay to just blow it into your hand? No, you need to control that urge for a few minutes till you get a tissue. Things like that. I mean, those are kind of funny examples, but the more that we can control ourselves in small things like that, the more that we'll be able to control ourselves when we want to lash out, either with our hands or with our tongues to get back at other people or to make fun of other people. We can control ourselves when we practice controlling ourselves. When a friend treats you unkindly, is it your natural reaction to be unkind to him or her, or to seek revenge? It can be a natural reaction to want to get back at them, but like I said earlier, that doesn't exhibit self-control. That's not what God wants us to do with our lives. We are supposed to speak the truth in love. We are supposed to do to others what we want them to do to us. And in order to do those things ourselves, we need to practice self-control. But the great thing is that God doesn't leave us alone with all this. It's not like you become a Christian and God says, okay, here are the fruit of the Spirit and go. No, He said He will walk with us and He will strengthen us and He will help us to implement those fruits of the spirits, to help them be present in our day-to-day actions and in our everyday life. So I hope that you all are doing well. I hope that you are practicing the fruits of the Spirit when you're at home with your families. I hope that soon we will be able to all get together again. It'd be great to see you. Remember, you can send me your verses by video on Facebook Messenger is the easiest way for me. Again, my name is Cristel, Cristel, Bodecker, Boedecker. And you can record your verse and flip through your book and let me see that you did the work of the pages, and we'll hopefully see you soon.